Darkness was no longer absence, it was substance. It breathed. It touched. It watched. Eleanor could feel the cold floor against her cheek, but when she opened her eyes, there was no floor at all, only a sea of shifting blackness that stretched endlessly in every direction. Above her, faint outlines of floorboards shimmered like the surface of water, distant and unreachable. She realized, with a jolt of sick clarity, that she was beneath them now. The whispers were everywhere, thousands of voices murmuring at once, layered and discordant. Some wept, some laughed, others merely repeated her name over and over like a chant. Eleanor, Eleanor, Elenas. She staggered to her feet, or what felt like her feet. The ground was soft, like soil soaked in blood. Shapes moved in the distance, distorted silhouettes of people crawling, stumbling, clawing. They were translucent, their faces melting into the darkness as though it consumed their very essence. "Where am I?" Eleanor whispered. One of the shapes turned toward her. Its eyes, if they could be called that, glowed faintly like dying embers. "Home," it said in a voice like cracking wood. "You are with us now." "No," she said, backing away. "I'm not dead. I'm not supposed to be here." "You are blood of the binder," another voice hissed from the void. "You opened the seal. You broke the law." Suddenly, the darkness beneath her feet shifted, and the ground pulsed again, like the beating of a heart buried deep in the earth. Each pulse sent tremors through the air, and with every beat, more of the spirits began to turn their gaze toward her. And then she heard it, a low, rhythmic thumping echoing from far below. The same sound she'd heard that first night beneath the floorboards, except now it was louder, stronger, alive. It was calling her name. Eleanor turned to run, but the air thickened like syrup. Her movements slowed. The whispers became screams. Hands reached out of the dark, gripping her ankles, pulling, clawing. She fell forward, her palms sinking into the fleshy ground that moved under her touch. When she looked up, she saw a figure standing ahead, tall, wrapped in chains that glowed faintly red. It was her uncle, Reverend Nathaniel Harrow. His eyes burned with exhaustion and sorrow. "I tried to contain them," he said, his voice echoing through the void. "But the house is older than the binding, older than you or me. It feeds on the bloodline. It waited for you." "Help me," Eleanor screamed, her voice cracking. "Please, you have to stop this." He shook his head slowly. "I can't, you can." The ground quaked. From the darkness below, something massive stirred. The whispers turned into shrieks. The chains around her uncle's body began to snap one by one, each release followed by a blast of cold air that tore through the void. "Don't let it wake," he roared. "You have to seal it again. Say the words." "What words?" she shouted. "I don't know them." He reached out a trembling hand. A faint sigil appeared in the air between them, glowing, ancient, writhing with symbols that shifted like living things. "Blood for the floor, will for the wall, breath for the bond," he rasped. "You must offer yourself willingly." Eleanor's breath caught. What happens if I do?" The void answered for him. The darkness below burst open. A geyser of black smoke erupted upward, spiraling into a monstrous shape, a figure so vast it dwarfed everything around it. Dozens of faces emerged from its body, screaming, melting, reforming. Its eyes were hollow pits that burned with endless hunger. Its voice shattered the air. "We are many, we are the forgotten, we are the whispers beneath the floor." Eleanor fell backward, covering her ears, but the sound wasn't just heard. It was inside her head, inside her veins. The entity's tendrils reached for her, each one dripping shadow that hissed like acid when it touched the ground. Her uncle lunged between them, thrusting his hands forward, chanting the words of binding. The chains around his arms flared with white light. "Run," he screamed. "I can't hold it." The entity struck. A tendril impaled him through the chest. The light in his eyes went out, and the chains dissolved into dust. His body fell into the darkness and vanished. Eleanor screamed. The void erupted around her, collapsing into chaos. The spirits scattered, fleeing into cracks and shadows. The entity's voice shook the world. "Blood of the binder, the seal is broken. Come below and take your place." Her body was yanked downward. She clawed at the empty air, desperate for something to hold on to. Her fingers grazed the outline of the glowing sigil her uncle had shown her. Instinct took over. She pressed her palm against it, feeling a searing pain rip through her skin as the symbol burned itself into her flesh. "I won't let you win," she screamed. The ground beneath her exploded into blinding light. The sigil expanded, filling the void with its glow. The entity shrieked, recoiling, its faces melting into the darkness. The light began to pull everything inwards: spirits, smoke, even the monster itself, like a collapsing star. But it was pulling her too. Eleanor dug her nails into the ground, screaming, but the light consumed everything. Her last thought before it engulfed her was her mother's face, the same one in the locket, smiling faintly, as though she'd known this would happen. When Eleanor awoke, she was lying on the hallway floor. The house was silent. No whispers. No movement. Just stillness. Morning sunlight poured through the cracked windows, illuminating the dust that hung in the air. For the first time since she arrived, the house felt empty. She stood slowly, every muscle aching. Her hand throbbed. When she looked down, the sigil was still burned into her palm, faintly glowing red before fading away. She exhaled, trembling. "It's over," she whispered. But as she turned to leave, she noticed something strange. The warped section of the hallway, the place where the voices had first whispered, was gone. The floorboards were smooth and new, as if freshly laid. Too new. Frowning, she knelt and pressed her hand to the wood. It was warm. Her heart stopped. Then tap, tap, tap. 3 slow, deliberate knocks echoed from beneath her palm. Eleanor's breath hitched. She backed away, eyes wide, as faint voices began to rise once more, soft at first, then louder. "Eleanor, thank you for freeing us." She shook her head violently. "No, no, I sealed you. You sealed us in you." Her vision blurred. Her veins began to glow faintly beneath her skin, the same sickly red as the sigil. The whispers grew louder, echoing from within her chest, her throat, her mind. She stumbled backwards, screaming, as her reflection in the cracked mirror nearby twisted. Her face stared back, except the eyes were black, and dozens of faint, ghostly faces flickered behind her, screaming silently within the reflection. Her voice came out layered and distorted. "The house must feed, and I am its keeper now." The lights in the house flickered once, twice, and went out. From somewhere deep beneath the floorboards, the thumping began again, slow, steady, patient. Thump, thump, thump. And if anyone were to pass by the house on Hawthorne Lane that morning, they would swear they heard faint whispering coming from inside. "Help me, please, get me out." But no one ever did. The house had found its new voice. And beneath the floorboards, something whispered back.